welcome! This is Train Simulator 2019 and this is the Skyhook Games Railworks Austria Cityjet. Yes, Skyhook Games and Railworks Austria have teamed up yet again and they brought us another Austrian rolling stock, but this time they haven't gone back in time to bring us something from the 60s or 70s. No, this time they've brought us something brand spanking new. The Cityjet is a brand new EMU that is currently being introduced by the Austrian Railways. It was introduced to the Austrian Railways in 2015 and is currently replacing older units all across Austria. The version included in this pack is the 4744 version, so the one that's used mostly outside of Vienna, and in this video we're gonna have a closer look at it. Now just bear in mind, as always, this is an early beta version, so if you see anything you don't like or anything you feel could be done better, then please leave a comment and I'll pass it on to the developers. So before we get started, let's take a look at the external modeling, which, as you can probably imagine, is as always really well done. Lots of small details, lots of modeling done, not very many decals I've seen. I've looked around in great detail. Most of the screws are actually now being modeled. Obviously the developers are making use of the new 64-bit platform, which allows more details and gives them more flexibility. So as you can see here, all these small details are fully modeled. Really nice model, and with this particular model I actually really like the inside. So here we are on the inside. As you can see, the entire train has been modeled in great detail. And by using the number 8 camera, you can actually walk through the whole thing. So here are the toilets, and these are the fold-out seats where you can also have your bicycles. And yeah, it's really nicely done. I think this is probably the nicest interior I have seen so far from Railworks Austria and Skyhook. It's really worth walking through the train just to have a look around. The train also has some functionality which we have seen before. For example, if you pull into a station, these doors are actually passenger operated. So once you unlock the doors, they will open and close automatically on a random basis, simulating the passengers getting on and off the train. All trains come with CIFA and PZB, which is activated when you start up the train. Can be switched off, I'll show you that in a moment. And there's also a fully functional destination display system, which again I'm going to show you in a minute. In addition to that, the developers from Railworks Austria also recorded over 300 different announcements with the original ÖBB voice for this train. Now, unfortunately, for copyright reasons, they were not allowed to include this in the original package. So what they've decided to do is the software to play them is all there, and once the train has been released and you purchased it, you can go to the website and download all these announcements, and then they will work on your train. So in addition to the destination boards, you can also hear the original ÖBB announcements as you drive along. And I guess this is where we're gonna spend most of our time, in the cab. And once again, really nicely done, very well modeled. The textures are nice and crisp, easy to read, and yeah, as you can see, it's a very modern cab. Very, I would almost call it sterile, but it works really well and the train drives really well. I'm gonna show you how to do everything. Well, let's look at it now. Okay, so here we are in the cab, and as with most S-Bahn trains, when the train driver enters the cab, the train is probably fully ready to go, and this is the case here already. So when you start a scenario, you don't really need to do all that much. The main thing is move this key here to activate the cab, and then go to this lever here, which is actually the reverser, and move it in the direction you want to go, in this case forward. And that's all there is to it. We can switch on the cab lights with either I or L. Here we go. And then we are pretty much ready to go. So the next thing you want to do is change to destination board. And that is done here with this unit. It's actually fairly straightforward. All you need to do is press this button here, and it's going to ask you for an ID. Now in the manual there is a huge long list of IDs. Each will cause the train to show a different destination. Now we are on a route that is actually not served by this train, so there are some generic numbers you can use. I'm going to use 997, which just says S-Bahn, and then you confirm here with accept. And if we now go to the outside, you can see here it says S-Bahn. Okay, and with that we're almost ready to go. If you want to switch off CIFA and PISA B, you can do so by pressing Shift 7 and Shift 8. So I'm going to do that now so I don't get distracted, because I'd like to show you how to drive this train. I'm going to bring up the HUD, makes it a bit easier. So all you have is this combined lever here, which essentially does everything, but it has an additional functionality. So as always, just move it forward and the train will start driving. Now let's say we want to hold 20 kilometers per hour. So we accelerate to 20 kilometers per hour, and then all you need to do is move the lever back to 0. And the train will not coast, but actually hold that speed, even if you drive uphill or downhill. It's a very nice and neat feature, especially if you have lots of speed changes or different signals giving you different speeds. So the train will just hold the speed. So now we go a little bit faster, we go to 40. And once again, once we've reached 40, we'll just move the lever back to 0 and the train will just hold 40. So how do you coast? Well, you just move it one notch back till it says 0 in blue, and now as you can see we're coasting, slowly losing speed. In order to brake, you just move the lever in the opposite direction, and as you can see we're now slowing down. Now the brake on this train is not as efficient as with your general locomotive, so just be aware you might need to add quite a bit of braking power. Now once you've stopped, just go back to 0 and then you can start accelerating again, and off we go. So it's a very easy train to drive, obviously designed for short hops between small stations, regional trains that stop everywhere, and therefore it's just designed to be very easy to handle. Finally, there's one more thing I'd like to show you. This train has a really neat feature. So we're here on the Semmeringbahn and we are just climbing up a really steep incline. I'm going to stop the train and just imagine we've just stopped in front of a signal or something, and now we need to pull away. Now one of the problems with trains is that they always start rolling backwards, but this train actually automatically keeps the handbrake on until there's enough power to move forward. So all you need to do is to go to 0 and then just add power, and as you can see it releases the brake just as the power comes on. So no rolling backwards even when you go up the Semmeringbahn. Now before I let you go, I'm gonna play you some footage which shows off the sound of this product. As usual with Railworks Austria, they've gone to great length to record the sound and to make it as accurately as possible. So just listen in and enjoy. Okay, and that was my brief introduction to the Skyhook Games Railworks Austria Cityjet. Once again, very nice product, very different. This is a very modern, up-to-date train, but yeah, why not? I really like it. Easy to drive, good sound set, and yes, you can use it on many routes that are available for Train Simulator. So yeah, I hope you liked the video, and I'll hope to see you again in the next one. Until then, bye bye.